Hello, welcome to my channel, Dianne's Sewing Room. Thank you for stopping by today. And I thought I'd share with you today one of my Christmas presents, and it's a Christmas present to myself, and it's a new sewing book. Now, I know this book is not new to everybody because it's been out for a while, but it's new to me. So I thought I'd share it with you and what I intend on making from it. Also, my first plan make, the fabric that I'll be using, so stick around to see what that will be later in the video. And also what I really like about this video and why you should buy it if you're new to sewing. So this is Gerties' new book for better sewing, and as I said, it's been out for a number of years. And I didn't actually buy this brand new, I bought it second hand, and I bought it as a Christmas present to myself, and I opened it on Christmas Day. I just left it in the packaging that it arrived in. Now, I know there are loads of videos out there on this book, but I think it's always good to see somebody else's take on it. And I also plan on doing a little series of makes from it. So if you keep up to date with my videos, you'll see what I'm going to be making in the future, and I will do sew-alongs for those. So if you have this book, maybe you haven't made things from it before and you were just a bit worried about making them, I will be doing full sew-alongs for them, so you'll have somebody to sew along with you in future. So what I really like about it is, first of all, it's spiral bound, and that's always great when you're sewing and you want to flip back and forth. So that's a really good feature. And you also get your patterns in an envelope like this. So a lovely big sturdy envelope, and your patterns are all inside. Now, as I said, I bought this second hand, but these have never been used. I can just tell by looking at them. They are all pristine. So ideally you would trace those off so that you can do all the different variations later on in the book, because there's lots of different variations for each pattern. So that's a great feature. And also, it's not just a pattern book with minimal information. There is such a wealth of information in this book. So as you can see in the contents, sewing retro, prepping tools, essential techniques, stabilising, pattern making, fitting. It's just so extensive. So I love the introduction on how Gertie got started and her journey. And then Sewing Retro 101. So there's lots of different bits of information about sewing with vintage patterns. The line drawings are just gorgeous. Look at these. And there are so many of these throughout the book. So vintage sizing. So some really important information there on sizing vintage patterns, storing them, a little bit of history, so you can see a few beautiful illustrations of vintage patterns there. So then in chapter 2 we have prepping and tools, machines and fabric. So this is the next chapter. So before we even get started on the patterns for this book, there is just so much information that you'll need if you're just starting out. Now, I'm not just starting out, but I just think I wish I'd had this in the beginning. It wasn't out then when I first started sewing, but that would have been wonderful back then. But I love sewing books, and this has become a new favourite already, even though I haven't even made anything from it yet. So, loads of information on tools. She's also got some wonderful information on buying your first machine, and how it's good to buy an old one. They're more sturdy, they're easier to fix and so on. And that also you don't need all these extensive stitches that come with the new machines these days. You just need a few basic stitches. And I agree with that, actually. She's got a whole chapter on fabric, preparing your fabric, looking after it and the different kinds. So here we've got a dictionary of the different fabrics and their qualities and properties and so on. And there's a whole section on that alone. Some information on colour coding your retro wardrobe. Now, chapter 3 is essential techniques. So, as a sewing book with actual technical information in it, this is just out of this world, because there is so much detailed information in here. So she starts with understanding grain lines, and then we've got making and using bias strips, and as you can see there's full illustrations as well as line drawings throughout. Hand stitches. She's also got information on different types of seam finishes, the traditional seam finishes. Loads of information on that. Zippers, buttonholes, you name it, it's all in here. So there's also a full chapter on fitting methods and customizing patterns, resizing patterns. It just goes on. It's so extensive. So I'm going to get to the point where we have the patterns in now. So let me just show you. All of this section of the book is all information and techniques. So we're more than halfway through the book before we even get to the wardrobe section. So it is very much a reference book and not just a pattern book. You do get the bonus of having the patterns in there. So the wardrobe consists of pencil skirt with variations. So pencil skirt, then A-line, portrait blouse, which is a basic blouse to start with, then the sultry sheath, the scallop waist skirt with different variations on that, the bow tie blouse, the sweetheart sundress and different variations, the wiggle dress, shirt dress, suit jacket and a coat dress. Wow, all those patterns in one book. And then, as well as that, she's got vintage sort of little tips on, for the sheath dress, there is a gusset underarm hole section, and then she shows you how to make these gusset inserts for underneath the arms of dresses. So she also talks about preparing and looking after your fabric. Now, we're all trying to cut down on washing things too much, because these days we tend to throw things in the wash far too often. And she talks about these gusset inserts that you can fit under your dresses. So maybe if you're just wearing them and you're wearing an undergarment, maybe they're not directly close to your skin, but the underarm bit is, you can make these detachable gussets that go under your arms and you take those out and wash them. So that's really interesting. So I'm not sure I like the gusset part in the actual pattern, but I think it's a really cool idea. So that's something, she gives you full instructions on how to make those in the book as well. So I'm going to show you some of the dresses and skirts and tops now in the book, and the one that I plan on making first of all. So she's also got a section on sizing before we begin here. So first up is portrait blouse. So if you are a little bit uncertain, this might be the best one to go for first of all. It's a bit like a drop shoulder plain t-shirt, but of course it's a blouse, and it's a really simple shape. So that would be a really easy one to get you started. And again, look at the line drawings here for the information. Beautiful detailed instructions, and also information on hemming the sleeves. So the next one, this is gorgeous in a gorgeous red, is the sultry sheath, and I do love a sheath dress. So this one, and she's got some information on belt making in the book as well. That's first up. And then variations on that, I like this one, wintertime jumper. So one that you can wear as a sort of pinafore dress. Same pattern, but you're just squaring off the neckline and wearing something under it and using a heavier fabric for the winter months. Or for the summer, a variation, a seersucker dress. So you can make it this way, and here we've got a full skirt with it. We've got a scallop waist skirt here, so it's a full skirt. Then we have the bow tie blouse, so that's this one, and this particular pattern, but without the bow tie, I'm going to do the variation, is going to be one of the first ones that I make out of this book. So the one I'm going to do, well, let me just show you this, it has a button down back. Now a little tip for this, if you're going to struggle with doing up these buttons, make it a little looser, because I have made a vintage pattern before with buttons down the back and it can be a little bit tricky to fasten. So a good idea with that one is to make it a bit looser around the waist, and then you can pull it over your shoulders usually, because that's the bit that stops you from getting it on. So sometimes you can just undo a few of them, but if it's really fitted to the waist, then you really have to undo it all the way down. So I do like this feature though, it looks really nice. So I'll show you the one that I'm going to do. So you've also got the Peter Pan collar variation that I'm going to make this version. So it's a keyhole blouse, and I have just the fabric for this, so I'm going to show you that. And I love how it's got these gathers on the shoulder here and this lovely keyhole neckline. I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I'm going to show you the fabric now that I've chosen for this one. And I will be making that in the next couple of weeks. So I'll do a full sew along for that one first of all. And this fabric, I don't hoard fabric, but I did buy this before John Lewis shut down in Sheffield. I bought this fabric and then I put it away, and I don't usually do that. I usually buy it and make stuff up straight away. So it's been wrapped up in tissue paper, and I'm hoping I've just got enough because it was only a smallish piece. So it's this gorgeous fabric, and I think that'll really work well with the vintage styling. So it's a lovely viscose material. And it's black, as you can see, with a hot pink and red and nice leaf design. It's little polka dots there as well on that leaf, so that'll work really well with the vintage feel. So that's my fabric that I'm going to be making the keyhole blouse in. So be sure to pop back soon to see that one. I've not finished yet though, we're still going through the book. So next up we have the Sweetheart sundress. And I really love this too because I love dresses for the summer. And this has got a really nice shape to it. I like her detailing here at the bottom. I don't know if she's wearing a petticoat with that or if that's actual lace on there. I'll have to look at that in more detail. And you've got this contrasting colour here at the top. So that's one variation of that one. And then we've got the Tiki dress, which is another fitted dress with a bit of ruching at the bust there, and also this fabulous party dress. So I think that is the really, I think my light's glaring off the book here. That's really got that feel to it when you think of like 50s films, old films. You think of this dress at parties, don't you? That's really gorgeous. That'd be wonderful for a special occasion. Now, I really love the wiggle dress, and this is the one that I was talking about before that has got the gusset inserts under the arm. I really love that. I think I would probably try and make it without the gusset inserts. That would be easy enough to do because, like I said, I like the idea, but I'm not keen on that extra part under the arm for me. But I do love this shape, so that will be a definite one that I make in the future. And this one, for certain, I will be making this one. So that's another variation of that dress, and this one's done in brocade. Don't know whether I'd choose a brocade, but I'll have a look at her other fabric suggestions for that one. And then we've got it with a drop waist, this cocktail dress. So all of these variations from the same basic pattern, and she shows you in detail how to do that. And another definite make for me, because I have a few of these and I would love to see Gertie's take on it and how the pattern works out, is a classic shirt dress. So shirt waist dress, she's referred to it as, here with the buttons down the front. So I love these for the summer, so I will be making that one. Again, more beautiful line illustrations here. It's so detailed. I love the zip front version as well, so I may have a go at that one as well at some point because I like that one. It's got a tulip sleeve. I've made these before and these do add a really nice feature, and I like the detail by using a fancy zipper pulley. So you can buy those to add to regular zippers in with all different like charms and things on, so they're a really nice touch. There is a gorgeous suit jacket here. This would be wonderful for a wedding. And it's got covered buttons, and that's been paired with one of the skirts from the book to make a suit. And then finally we've got an amazing coat dress here at the end. Again, covered buttons and a covered belt. So there's detailed instructions in the book also on belt making. So fabulous book. I would highly recommend getting your hands on this. Have a look on eBay, Wordery, places like that first of all, because all those places tend to have them second hand, but you do need to read the descriptions really thoroughly, because if people have damaged the patterns or if there are pieces of pattern missing, it's not going to be any good to you. So it needs to be in good or very good condition, but do read, if you're going to buy it second hand, to check that the pattern pieces are intact and that they are all there. This book did say that it may have minor scuffs and so on to the cover. I think there's just a tiny little mark there, nothing else. And including postage, I think I paid £10 for mine. Yeah, it was £10. And I know it's more than that to buy it brand new. So do have a look first of all, but even if you buy it new, put it on your birthday or Christmas list for next year. It's just amazing. It's a really good one. I did get another sewing book just before Christmas, which I'll share another day, which was a more expensive one. Again, second hand, but still very expensive. And I would say that this one is better. It's got so much information, history, and it's a fun read. And it's got the patterns as well, whereas the other one is just on pattern making and everybody raves about it, but it's not as much fun as this book. So I hope you enjoyed that. Pop back soon because I will be doing the sew along series, and I will be starting with that keyhole top in the next couple of weeks, possibly next week. I'll see how I go for time work wise. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you've made any of these patterns out of this book, how you got on with it, or what your favourites were. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.